Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Welcome to this episode of Anhar. Once again, we are here to present you an interesting topic. Do good family values form cohesive societies? What are the ingredients for a good cohesive society? What makes a society cohesive? Does it require strong marriages? Does it require good individual values? Or what else does it require for a good society, cohesive society, to be a society of cohesiveness? Let us delve into this discussion, and we have Dr. Ibrahim Zakaria Musa, Dr. Abstar Yusuf, welcome again. So this topic of do good family values lead to cohesive societies? What do you make of this topic and its connotations? Let's say family values, cohesive society, and the
ingredients.
Some total effect of that. Yes,
My
please.
question.
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Certainly it's a very important topic, and perhaps one of the most important, because we are dealing with survival, human survival. Humans survive in their own societies, in their communities, and unless we can create that situation where societies can truly bond and feel that sense of belonging, and to feel that they have a common identity, these are things that we all understand, but we don't think about it, because at the individual level we become very engrossed with our own personalities. So the real thing that will keep us bound is when we can feel a sense of empathy with others, and that's where the real crux begin to have to be analyzed. So that how do you bring up children that have these qualities of cooperativeness, unity, caring, sharing, all these things. I mean, we see this in kindergarten and all that, because you say children have to share toys, don't hold it to yourself. But and that's one of the processes, because human beings are by nature selfish, because that's a protective aspect of our very being. And I think that has to be mediated through certain kinds of training and explaining the real purpose of why we have to be sharing. And those things help us to inculcate in us those values that will stay in us forever. So the important thing, as we say, we're talking about family values because you're talking about a set of beliefs and customs and ideals that we carry through the ages, and when we go, we pass it on to our children, and when those children are mature parents, they will pass on to their children. So there is this necessary turnover that must have to happen so that society can continue to be with that mindset. If you don't, and if there is a break in the system, then something different will happen. I don't know what will happen, because that's like shooting in the air. You don't know where it will land. Or shooting an arrow, you don't know where it will land once it leaves the bow. So similarly, we got to be thoughtful about how we are going to bring up our children. And I think that's the biggest point here. And if we don't bring up good children who will value other people, then society will break down. I think that's the thing that we are basing it, and that's where the importance of this topic lies also.
That's a great point to start off. Family is the building block of the society. For example, if you look at the Maldivian society, we find family values very much very different from what it was or what it were, let us say, a few decades back. There was a tremendous bond within families. Even among distant relatives used to stay together, live together, eat together very often, and then these love and affection was immense in these family values. But then we are now very much set apart as compared to what we were, what we used to be. And this building block of the society, the family, is crumbling down. It's being reduced to a mere institution of marriage, and then just husband lives the way he wants, wife lives the way he wants. We have our respective careers, and children are glued to screens, and very different scenarios as compared to what it used to be. Yes.
Yeah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very important topic indeed. We human define socially bonded creature or any social animal, as Socrates has been rightly defined, which means you cannot be a human being unless you fulfill all those requirements that are needed to be fulfilled as a social animal. What do you mean by social animal? That you are associated, affiliated to a certain group that are developed and passing on from generation to generations all those habits and cultures and knowledge, skills, all sort of inheritance that we are inheriting from our forefathers. Now, let us at the very outset think what is the philosophical aspect of marriage. Now, it's wonder. Just imagine a scenario where there is no marriage institutions. We human are living like animals. After all, animals do not have that a society, so-called a society as we had. We humans have. Of course, animals, perhaps they may have a herd of cattle, a pack of wolves, a group of animals, but not in the sense of people who are living under one umbrella as a nation or as a society, with a well-mannered, well-cultured, with skills that needed to be equipped for the betterment of our life. So all these kind of things are at most a requirement to be a dignified and a human being that enjoys with dignity. We are not like animals after all, and no human being, a sane human, will accept to lower his status to become an animal. If you do not want to lower your status to that level, you have to fulfill very huge responsibilities. So the philosophical aspect of marriage is all about bearing a huge responsibility, not towards husband and wife alone. The moment a man and a woman comes together under a marriage, they are willingly accepting that huge responsibility, not for their sake, for the sake of their family, their society, and at large to their nation. So, as you have rightly mentioned, family institution is regarded as the one of the most fundamental cornerstone of society. If marriage do not work towards this end, to bring closer the men and women who are tied up under the marriage covenant, they should not take it as a that's very simple manner. It has to be taken as a very serious matter. Marriage is not a joke. It's not a joke. But sadly, unfortunately, what we experience what we see in our Muslim, so-called Muslim society in our own country, perhaps I may be wrong if I say estimate of out of every 60, 70 or out of every 100 marriage, perhaps more than 50 or 60 marriages are broken. Before even before the if I'm not exaggerating, even before the period of honeymoon is over. So perhaps I may be exaggerating if I say most of, or if not most, many marriages are broken and gone apart before their honeymoon period is over. So this is a very huge, problem that we need to address at different levels. Now, while we are talking about the importance of marriage and how it is connoted with the making the country a stronger nation with a very strongly bonded with each other, we must teach our children the importance of marriage, and it should not be taken it as a very minor issue. Our parents, my mother and my father, when they married, if they have, believe me, if they have taken it as a very simple way, I wouldn't be sitting in front of this mic and talking to the audience about the importance of marriage. I am thankful to Allah Almighty that my parents, since they married, they lived together, they have passed on us, they educated us well, they have given every bit of their energy and wealth, their time and sacrifice to raise their children for the betterment of society and for the nation. My parents, if they have taken it as a very simple way of marrying, we would be able to have in here talking about this marriage. So what I personally feel is I should follow the legacy of my parents, my mother and my father. And Alhamdulillah, I am following that their steps, what they have passed on us, what I have received from them, that son, don't take it in a simple manner. Marriage is, we have practically shown, implemented in front of all of you. Please carry on this mission towards achieve your goals in your married life. Therefore, we have to be very, very serious in particular matter. Now, when we come refer to Quran, the holiest book, the book that we cannot leave apart. It has to be implemented in our everyday life.
Divine instruction.
So, what is the language of Quran as far as marriage is concerned? As far as a male and female are coming in the wedlock of marriage and getting and starting a married life. So, in Surah Al-A'raf, Allah very clearly said, it is He who created you from one soul and created from its mate that He might dwell. This is very important. So He might dwell in security with her. So very clearly in this ayah, in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to us, telling very clearly, defining the philosophical aspect of marriage, that no man and neither woman can live alone, because the purpose of our creation, besides worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we men and women are created to bond together in the legal form of marriage and live a very married happy life. For what reason? To get security, to get tranquility. So marriage itself is not a act of getting sexual satisfaction. That is a very minor matter involved in this whole process. But the ultimate goal of marriage is to get security, tranquility, peace from each other, from man and woman, from husband and wife. Therefore, the married couples, if they have decided to live a married life, it means they are promising towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, promising in front of their families and from their nation, that we will be living together in this marriage. When we live like a couple, we will never go apart. So this is the most noble aim of marrying each other.
So it's a personal affair, getting married out of love, out of desire, their own desire to build a life. And yet, even though it is a personal affair, personal matter, it is the foundation to build the society on which the society is built and society thrives. So We'll come to more details of this discussion after a break. Stick around. Welcome back. We are discussing, do family values contribute to better societies, cohesive societies? So coming to this, marriage is becoming very much evolved. There's so much evolution in the marriages. The nature of marriage of course remains the same, but the culture of marriage, or the living patterns, or the lifestyle that is seen after the marriage, these things are very much evolving. The way a couple chooses to live together is also very much evolving, perhaps due to this cultural relativism, moral relativism. We are choosing our values, and we are also imbibing the values that we see out in the media. Whatever is trending, whatever is in vogue, we just absorb it, hook, line, and sinker. So, without having much of a judgment, or without assessing ourselves the quality of it, or the value, with the value of it, or how inimical it may be to our personal life, family life, and societal health as well. So this evolution is happening in every step of the way, if you look at what we used to be as a society a few decades back. So are we set on this path out of our choice, or are we being drifted by the currents that are pulling us to a whirlpool?
An interesting point, but ultimately human beings are responsible for their own actions, right? We have something called ikhtiyar. I'm responsible for my actions. Free will, so to say. Of course, free will has to be taken with a little bit of grain of salt, because free will, certainly, in our mind, we are acting with free will, but ultimately Allah decides. That's for sure. And how we decide will ultimately be our responsibility, right? So I wouldn't go to say that we are being swept by the currents of time. It's very nice to say that, but of course we are influenced by it. We are influenced by it. It doesn't mean that you have to go along with it. Shaitan also influences you, but you don't have to go along with Shaitan. That's the difference, right? So you have a choice. So things that happen outside, neoliberalism, and independence, equality among men and women, all these things come into the picture, but ultimately it's we who have to decide whether we want to go that way or hold on to those values that are given to us by our Creator. And I think our Creator has categorically mentioned that we have certain roles to play. It's not because we are not equal in the sense of respecting each other, or the reverence that human beings have been given in our birth. Woman, man are the same, but maybe there's a degree of authority or something which can be taken in a wrong way. But obviously everywhere there is an authority. Can you tell me one institution in life that doesn't have a leader? Your officers, a nation, a football team, any basketball team, cricket team, there is a captain, there is a leader. So why is it so difficult for us to accept that a community, that this wonderful institution called family also has to have a leader? It doesn't mean autocratic leader, it means a democratic leader who will value another person's thoughts, assimilate the viewpoints, and come up with a good idea that is a win-win. All right? So I'm not going to go into that too much, because our topic is about whether our family values become the backbone of society's cohesion, right? So in that sense, I would like to say that marriage is important, obviously. That's a sacred pact that we have to have, and we create the children for the next generation. Now, the next generation are Khalifas. Now, if we are going to be Khalifa, we have to have, Khalifa means ambassador. What would you say, Ibrahim? Representative, okay, mandub or whatever.
Steward.
Yeah, someone who is taking care of what? Our earth, our society. Which means that that leader must have qualities of leadership. And we know from our studies, education and TV, even write-ups, and now AI, even if you ask, you'll say there are at least 4 or 5 principles that need respect, responsibility, empathy, honesty. These are values we must inculcate in our children. And that means, as Ibrahim says, if we have a bonded, well-established marriage, and the children that come out of it will be brought up well with these responsibilities, with these principles as guiding, lights for their future. And so it behooves the parents to really create these attitudes in children so that they become the proponents of these in their lives also, and in their families also. So we cannot give up this. So the family values would be that those aspects of character, and also those aspects of identity also. We are Maldivians, so Maldivianness has to be promoted. Okay, we can mingle with everybody. As Gandhiji also says that, I will entertain, appreciate and enjoy the winds that blow from all over the world, but I will not be swept off my feet with those winds. I will hold on to my type of, ideas and values. So that's the kind of thing, and I think it is necessary for us to bring that unity within the family. And how to get that done is the step that we need to follow by building trust, honesty, fairness, and all that kind of stuff, sharing. And that can be done in the household. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go through a big lecture for that. They can have chores to do at home. They wash their plates. They make their beds. They don't throw their clothes, put it on the rack. That can be done. At the dinner table, they don't have to reach out and take everything without thinking of the other person. Pour out the whole curry bowl into his plate, and it doesn't matter, anybody else doesn't get also. Those things are very important. Or coming to bed on time, or coming after school on time. All these things are values of time and punctuality, all that will have to be brought. Nowadays, as you say, lives have changed because parents have gotten used to another attitude of child care, and so they are seeking to forfeit the old values because they say, no, that's old-fashioned. We need the new type. But new type is untested, and you'll have to see what kind of children that result from it.
I
you
would
want to take the chance.
I would take it as a very powerful point. Untested. we are getting into untested waters, or rather we are trying to take chances with our life. So what happens is, let us say women, how much does feminism affect our lives? How much, if one were to judge Prophet, peace be upon him, as a feminist, I think it's very clear that nobody can compete with him. If you regard feminism to mean that it is liberation of women, or extension of liberty to women, women's rights, and being a champion of women's rights. So there is, Islam is asking us, as scholars like yourselves have been professing, we have been asked to dedicate 2 years of post-natal period for child care, for breastfeeding, and to not compromise the motherly love to the child, and to do something good to the child. We are leaving the child and going away as mothers to pursue our career. And are we building a better society by leaving the child at home, by parting with the child for the good of the career? So the kind of choices which are which are astounding. In a way, we are advancing our career, but I don't know what this outcome is like for the future.
There's the old saying which says, you reap what you sow. This is very clear. We don't need any rocket science to explain this proverb or the old saying. As Dr. Absar mentioned, whatever we have a choice to construct or to destruct. It is up to our choice, either to construct our society or to destruct our society. Because, marriage itself cannot be regarded as a single affairs between a man and woman. The moment you becomes a husband and wife, you are admitting to or associating yourself to the society. Now you become a responsible person towards society as well. After all, marriage brings not only a husband and wife closer, 2 or more families behind a husband and wife coming to closer, their friends are coming together, and ultimately the whole society is coming closer. So what will happen all of a sudden if this closeness, this bond is broken, fallen apart? What will happen? Don't you think that this break in this bond is a very simple matter? The nation, the society will never forgive for those who are marrying for their own sake. Well, marriage is not for their own sake, according to my limited understanding. It is the sake for the sake of the society and for nation, in order to produce a good human being. In order to provide and produce good human being, you have to spend your quality time. You have to be with your child. Never leaving the child to be raised by a stranger, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already established the bond between the mother and the child, so much so that the child will be totally broken apart. And the research have proven that even children suffer depression.
Of course.
Even children suffer. We can't say that this is depressions, anxieties, and or stress sort of status are being experienced in adults. No, even the small children when they see that kind of environment, because after all, marriage is not a battleground. It is not a war zone. It is a zone of tranquility, companionship, cooperation, not of kind of a fight between husband and wife. It is all about cooperation, coordinations, not competing each other. They are not competitors. They are coordinators. They are helpers. Therefore, husband as well as wife must be ready to sacrifice for the to face the reality of life. You can't say, no, I need a very perfect person. I need a very perfect person. That is why, our Prophet, peace be upon him, very rightly said, when the Prophet was asked which type of woman is the best, which type of the woman is the best, he replied,
best for marriage?
Best woman. What the best quality that is acceptable to the maximum standard from Islamic perspective. What are the good qualities that we should be looking for in a woman when we are about to marry, to bring as a lifetime partner? So he said, the best woman is one who, when you look at her, you become pleased, who obeys when you instruct, and who does not violate him with regard to herself, chastity, and her wealth. Now, about feminism, I don't think the term feminism is very much familiar in those old days, because Islam has already set very vivid criteria to judge, to establish justice between regardless of their gender. So to be justice to be prevailed among every human being, whether he is a man or female. And we Muslims supposed to be the exercising the best examples in all our aspects of our life. Not only praying 5 times daily. Marriage is also has to be regarded as a worship. It has to be taken as a worshipfulness. Like we pray 5 times, like we keep fasting during the month of Ramadan, as our rituals oblige to us to perform. Marriage is also worship, because it has been commanded by Allah Almighty to live a peaceful and tranquil life in a very harmonious way between husband and wife. Because why it has been so much instructed on emphasizing to strengthen that bond together? Why? Not for the husband and wife alone, for the sake of children. Not even for the sake of children, for the sake of their families. Because after all, through each and every marriage, believe me, there are a lot of blessings and hopes associated to that marriage, that to be lasting forever, living together till they depart from this world. Because living together as a happily married couple, it will give blessings and feelings of peace for their parents, for their families, and ultimately for the whole nation. Now, if each and marriage is ending into as a broken family, and that the whole society is abundant with broken families, now what will be imagine what will be the result? Who are the people responsible to raise their children? Who will be sacrificing their time to raise their children? Because after all, marrying between a wife and a man and a female is up to their choice. Through their choice, they have selected their partners. There's no doubt in it. But once they have been married and they got children, those children, it is not their mistakes that they have. They are the people who they didn't choose them as their father, as their mother.
Right.
It is a relationship established by Allah Almighty to be the father of your children, mother of your children. That is the relationship established by Allah Almighty. So you have to honor that relationship. How you have to honor that relationship? Through honoring the vow, the covenant that you have taken to be very faithful in order to implement it to the last breath.
So it is to be lived. Marriage is to live together through thick and thin, not just in good times. In good times and bad, we have to live together peacefully and with love and affection. And that is the way we should keep chugging ourselves forward. Life is not a bed of roses. There are ups and downs in life.
Of course.
So the way we live life should be so as to please our Creator. If we don't have that intention of pleasing the Creator, there is no common ground between husband and wife. As husband, I have my values, and wife will have her values, and we will never have common ground. So the common ground, that strong common ground, will protect both husband and wife if they live by those values that are divine. And both of them are to be abided by that. So coming to the evolution of this life this fast to this day, I mean by the day we see, still our life is evolving by the years. There's no end to it. It's evolving. I mean, so fast that
Humanity.
the lifestyle, the marriages, the culture,
That's
and
humanity.
the needs, wants, and even necessities are becoming necessities of one day are becoming luxuries the next day. So there is so much of change. So fast a life we are living.
Luxuries of yesterday become necessities of today.
Necessities today, and necessities of today are becoming what? I don't know how it leads to.
Well,
So this fast the life is evolving. So it's a very fast-paced life. So where do we start fixing the society? Now we know there are fault lines in our society. Even in the Maldives, we have political fault lines, we have familial fault lines. Sometimes families are choosing to stay apart and live their own lives. And as we have been saying, our life is so apartmentalized, if not compartmentalized. So it is, as it were. So how do we come together as a society? How do we get rid of these fault lines and unite ourselves as one monolithical family, as Maldivians?
yeah. Well, I think that ultimately this is the awareness of this as a plague that we have, as a disease that we have, as a thing like a cancer that we have.
Yeah.
Ultimately, a cancer will just kill the body. Sometimes you can, in rare cases, you can deal with that, but most of the time you have to excise it and then deal with it and hope you recover. So this kind of a cancer, social cancer, it is, right? Not a physical cancer, but social cancer. It is very deep. It's deep. Roots are very deep. And unless we can truly systematically analyze the causes of this anxieties that we have, or the breakdowns of the families we have, or why we marry and why we divorce, all those things have to be analyzed. Everything has a reason. Be aware, everything has a reason. But many people don't want to look at reason, because sometimes when they look at reason, it's me who is creating this. It is my problem, not somebody else's problem. So when you see that, when I see that it's my problem, then I'll try to be away from it. I don't want to own up. I would like to deny it. And this denial by mass human society, not only Maldives, every other country, the whole world is going through a throes of this kind of a tremor. Right? You can see, you lose anything that you see, news, media, everything you see, all problems. And of course, media will report only problems. They don't want to report good things, because news is something bad.
Sensationalized.
Yeah, that's right. So once you analyze it, you realize that, as you said, there are these influences that are coming from outside. See, Maldives was very closed until the 1950s. We lived in our own little cocoon, so to say. We lived, we ate what we grew out of our earth. We built our houses from the trees that we grew. We caught the fish that were in the lagoon.
Is it a meaningful nostalgia?
No, I don't want to look at it as nostalgia. I want to look at it first as a cause-consequence relationship. When you are completely insulated, you work within that inner dimension and you don't see anything outside. Nobody's afraid. The first tourists came. Of course, there were shipwrecks and things in Maldives those days. You could pirate or somebody who came, who lived with people, and they wrote, exegesis of their work and everything. But real change came with tourism. Real change came with our sale of fish, raw fish to the trawlers. Each of these had consequences. You got to look at this. What did the tourists do? It brought new way of life. And we started seeing it. And I said, oh, that's very nice. Look at the way they're so nice. They wear such, nice clothes, revealing clothes, whatever, okay? And the kind of things they eat, the kind of drinks they have, all those maybe impress us. And some get swayed by it, and society starts breaking. Families also, you see them so easy with each other, but then our societies are very closed. That's also not nice. We got to develop. Modernization means that we have to espouse new ways, right? And then now you have all this technology that has come in. The phones, social media, the smartphones, all these are things that have suddenly come up in the last 5-10 years. Generations. We never talked about the boomers or Generation X or Generation Y. We didn't talk about it. Now we are naming it because each of these generations have characteristics that are very specific to them. And so unless we can analyze these and realize that human beings are human beings and societies are societies because of relationships. I think our great religion also advocates muamalat, relationship, as the bigger chunk of society, or of our worship. It's worship actually.
Maintaining
kinship and coordinating, neighborliness, all these things are values that we are slowly throwing away. We are living beside each other,
and that is weakening us.
But never we talk to each other, no? True. So unless we can realize that, hey, I need to bring back society. I need to bring back face-to-face conversations. I need to talk and communicate, because this is the greatest strength we have, communication. And you see, communicating human beings are the ones who rise in society also. But we don't want to read, we don't want to talk to each other. We are just completely immersed in our silos. And so how can you become changing? Because you asked me for change.
Yeah.
I think always at the end of our discussions, unless we talk about some remedies, the audience are not going to see, what do you talk about? You didn't give us any solutions. That's why I think we have to end this. It's very important that we realize the difficulties we have with this.
Right.
And this is taking away our humanity, taking away our community. How can we bring back paper and make a balance of technology in our schools and in our homes?
We are running out of time.
Thank you.
We have reached the end of the episode. Well, you have very well described the problems or the alternative values that are getting washed up to our shores, and then how we, in spite of the problems inherent in those values, we still tend to romanticize and fantasize about the merit of it. But unfortunately, it's impossible
It's a difficult.
It's a difficult thing to do. Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim Zakaria Musa, Dr. Hafstar Yusuf, for this lively, wonderful discussion. Viewers, thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.